All right, folks, let's talk about giants. Not your favorite basketball player, not the guy at your gym who looks like he was sculpted out of stone, but actual giants. Humans towering over 8 feet tall, leaving behind massive skeletons that archaeologists conveniently cover up. Because obviously that's how science works, right? Suppress all the fun stuff and keep people in the dark. But let's pump the brakes on this Indiana Jones fantasy for a second. Where do these giant human myths even come from? Well, there are quite a few tales out there. One of the most famous is the so-called Lovelock giants in Nevada. Allegedly, in the early 1900s, guano miners, yes, bat poop miners, stumbled upon the skeletal remains of enormous red-haired humanoids in a cave. The claim? These beings were up to 2.44 meters tall, aka, you'd need an NBA contract just to be average in their village. Sounds cool, right? Except for the minor inconvenience that no one has ever provided any legitimate scientific evidence. Whoops! Then, we have the Wisconsin case from 1912, where newspaper reports claimed that skeletons up to 10 feet tall were unearthed. But strangely, despite our ability to preserve and document things like Egyptian mummies, somehow these skeletons disappeared. The Smithsonian was even accused of being in on the cover-up, because nothing screams secret conspiracy like government scientists desperately trying to hide the fact that a basketball team of Nephilim once existed in Middle America. Now let's get into why giant humans just don't make sense, scientifically speaking. First, we have the square cube law, which states that as something grows in size, its volume, and therefore its weight, increases at a much faster rate than its structural strength. Translation: if humans were truly that big, their bones would have the consistency of a breadstick. And not the sturdy kind, more like the ones that crumble the moment you pick them up. Giant humans wouldn't be stomping around conquering the land. They'd be collapsing under their own weight like a Jenga tower in a hurricane. Then we have Peto's paradox, which deals with cancer risk. In simple terms, larger animals tend to have mechanisms to avoid cancer despite having more cells. Humans, on the other hand, don't have those advantages, meaning a human double or triple the size of an average person would be like a walking cancer magnet. Not a great evolutionary advantage, to say the least. So what's really going on with these so-called giant skeletons? A few things. Hoaxes, because fooling people with fake discoveries is an age-old tradition. Misidentifications. Many supposed giant bones turn out to belong to other species, like prehistoric animals. Ever heard of a mammoth? Turns out their bones are big too. Exaggerations by the media. Because let's face it, scientists find normal-sized skeleton doesn't sell as well as Smithsonian covers up the remains of a 12-foot-tall warrior king. The bottom line? If humans were ever truly giant, we'd have real, verifiable, peer-reviewed evidence. Fossils, DNA, or at least a few skeletons that didn't mysteriously vanish. Instead, we have a bunch of tall tales and Photoshop jobs. So the next time someone tells you that giants once ruled the earth, just smile, nod, and remember, the only giants we'll ever see are playing in the NBA. Now, if you enjoyed this reality check, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Maybe tell us about the weirdest conspiracy theory you've ever heard. And if you've got a photo of a real giant, we'd love to see it. Just make sure it's not edited in MS Paint. See you next time on the Debunkers.